Hi, and welcome back to Focal Point AFR Talk. I want to start with just it's kind of a throwaway clip of Harry Reid. I don't have any larger purpose for playing this other than this just cracks me up. You know, because Harry Reid, I mean, that guy can be cranky. And here is Harry Reid at his crankiest as the Senate floor and things are going on there that he doesn't like. Somebody's trying to talk and people are standing up and they're talking amongst themselves. And that ticks off Harry Reid, and here's how he behaves.
The Senate is not in order. The Senate will be in order.
Madam President, have
The Majority
senators
Leader.
sit down and shut up, okay? It's unfair.
The Senate will be
Senator
in
Murray
order.
has something to say. Senator Collins has something. It's just not polite.
Have them sit down and shut up. You know, and that's what the San Antonio City Council, I was on Bishop Harry Jackson's program this morning, and the San Antonio City Council, they're going to consider an ordinance that would prevent Christians from ever doing any business with the city, would prevent a Christian from ever serving on a city board or commission, and would prevent a Christian from ever running for a seat on the San Antonio City Council. So San Antonio City Council getting ready to tell Christians, the entire Church of Jesus Christ, sit down and shut up. Let's go to the phones. Let's begin with Ned in Jacksonville, North Carolina. Ned, welcome to Focal Point. What's on your mind? Ned, are you with me?
I sure am, Brian.
Okay, go right ahead.
One of the most astounding and confounding things that I've noticed here as an observer, a conservative, involved observer of the process is what reasons these other so-called conservatives have for not supporting the repeal or the defunding of Obamacare. And I heard an interview last week where it was a senator or a congressman, I can't remember which, but he had initially signed on to the legislation or to the idea of defunding Obamacare.
Yes.
And it seems like we're hitting a brick wall with these people. I'm not sure what their reason is. They say, oh, well, we'll be so disappointed if it doesn't go through. But I want to ask these senators that, since it's an incremental process to defund Obamacare, if that first stage of defunding works, would they be in support of it? If it seems to, begin the ball rolling of defunding it, would they then support it?
Well, and it's interesting to me, and I think you're making a good point here. I don't know if this is exactly where you're going with this, Ned, but the point that Ted Cruz has made, and a lot of these senators, I mean, anybody who observes American politics will tell you this, no entitlement program, no welfare program has ever been rolled back. Once they get started, once people get the lollipops, once they get handed somebody else's money, just try to pry that out of their hands. They're like little 2-year-olds. They'll throw a tantrum
Right.
if you try to go for their lollipop.
Right.
That's the whole point. If this thing is bad, we can't even let this thing get out of the chute, because once people start getting their lollipops, then anybody comes along and tries to start taking it away, you are going to have an entire nation of people throwing little 2-year-old temper tantrums.
Exactly. Brian, I don't understand why all these so-called conservatives won't get on board with at least the effort to attempt to defund Obamacare, because if they would just attempt it, all we need is their support initially to begin the defunding process. But they're like, oh, no, I'm not going to do it for whatever reason that they give. But the fact is, if they would watch and participate and support, and it began to look like it might work, would they support it then? That's my question that I would ask them is, why can't you at least stand behind this effort? Because it clearly looks to be our last effort to be able to roll this back.
Yeah. Well, and I appreciate the call, Ned. Thank you very much for that. And, there are going to be town hall meetings this month. And there's an opportunity for people to go to these town hall meetings with your senator or with your representative, because both of them are going to have to sign off on this. I mean, I guess the Senate could kill it all by itself, or the House could kill it all by itself. But, but what they're saying is, look, this won't work. Even if we voted for this continuing resolution that didn't have funding for Obamacare, it wouldn't work. It's useless. Nothing's going to come of it. Well, then the question then becomes, well, then why don't you vote for it? I mean, if you're telling us that it's not going to work, then what's stopping you from actually voting against it or voting for a continuing resolution that defunds Obamacare? The question is, if you're saying that voting against Obamacare wouldn't work, then what does it cost you to vote against it? It doesn't cost you anything to vote against it. So it takes away, if they're out there saying, look, it won't work, it can't work, Obama will just find a way around it, it's pointless, it's impractical, it'll never work, then you have no reason to not to vote against it. You have no reason not to vote against it. Because by your own words that come out of your own mouth, it's pointless. It's not going to accomplish anything, so you got nothing to lose. You got nothing to risk. Vote against funding Obamacare. All right, let's go to Frank in Owensville, Kentucky. Frank, welcome to Focal Point with Brian Fisher. What's on your mind?
Hi, Brian.
Hey.
I wanted to remind you, a lot of times when you ask someone to do something, especially when it comes on the internet, a lot of times people don't have a computer, and we kind of at a loss. And if you have a name, a number to put up there.
Yeah, so you bet. Let me give you the number. And what Frank is talking about is not everybody has a computer, not everybody uses a computer, not everybody has one that's accessible to them. And so signing a petition like the Ted Cruz, Mike Lee petition can be tough to do. But what everybody can do, and everybody needs to do this anyway, is call your senator, and there's one number that you can call. It's the Capitol Hill switchboard. You can call that number and simply ask for the office of your senator or your representative. They'll direct you, they'll connect you immediately with their office. The number is 202-224-3121. 202-224-3121. I'll give it one more time here in just a second. But you call and ask for your senator's office and just politely say, I would like to urge Senator X to vote to defund Obamacare. Thank you very much. Give them your name. They may ask for your name, for your address. Give them all that information. But but the purpose of your call is to urge your senator to vote to defund Obamacare. The number again is 202-224-3121. All right. Thank you, Frank. Let's go to Juan in Houston, Texas. Juan, welcome to Focal Point with Brian Fisher. What's on your mind?
Brian Fisher, God bless. I am grateful to hear you every day. I'm a truck driver here in Houston, Texas, for a local freight company. And over the weekend, I received a letter from our health care plan. And so far as this president has said, our health care will not, or premiums would not increase.
Yeah.
Well, guess what? My premium for my family is more than triple. And it's going to triple come next year.
Wow. So it's going to triple. You're talking about your health care costs for your premiums are going up 300%. You're going to pay next year 3 times in premium costs what you're paying this year?
Yes, sir.
Oh, man.
Right now what I'm paying for my family is about $250, $300 for my wife and my four kids. Come next year, for the family, for my family plan, it's going to be $800.
Wow. And this is something, Juan, because, President Obama said if you like, you're not going to lose your insurance. If you like it, you can keep it. In fact, he says, I will promise you that as a family, your insurance premiums are going to go down $2,500 a year. And what I'm hearing from you, let's see, they're going up from 200-something to 800-something?
Yes, sir.
All right, so that is, well, let's say conservative, say $500-600 a month. That means that your insurance premiums are going up around $7,000 a year. So you're not getting the $2,500 reduction that President Obama promised you. Yours are going up $7,000. That's a $10,000 swing. You're $10,000 in the hole compared to where President Obama promised you would be if he was elected.
Yes, sir. And I totally am against whatever this Obamacare is coming through. And like I was telling my wife last night, she was telling me, look, don't worry about it. We depend on God. We depend on how he provides for us. And that's true. We do depend on God. But just to make a big point about this, that he is lying, that our premiums will go up. And I have the proof in the letter.
You got it right there.
Company.
Well, that's really something, Juan, up 300%. And by the way, Ted Cruz is the ramrod behind this. I think Mike Lee was the one that came up with the specific proposal, but Mike Lee and Senator Ted Cruz are working hand in glove on this deal. And so, of course, Ted Cruz, who's one of your two senators from Texas, he's signed on. He's pledged to defund Obamacare. But John Cornyn, Juan, your other senator, John Cornyn has not declared. He hasn't said he won't, and he hasn't said he will vote to defund Obamacare. So this is a good time for all the folks in Texas to give Senator John Cornyn a call, 202-224-3121, and let him know how you'd like him to vote. All right, Juan, listen, I am sorry to hear that news, but I appreciate the call, and thank you for listening, my friend. So, all right, last call of the hour. Let's go to Bill in Caldwell, Texas. Bill, Caldwell, Texas, you're on Focal Point with Brian Fisher. What's on your mind?
Yeah, Brian, I'm doing great. I just wanted to make my comment. I've been on the phone with using the Washington line like you just gave out, and I'm kind of in a good position. Senator Cruz and Representative Flores are my two in my area, and I've been hitting all of them. But I'm just reminding each of them. I'm giving Mr. Cruz the thumbs up on what he's been doing, and I'm reminding Representative Flores' office that he needs to be more vocal about it. He needs to stand up and tell his constituents that this is what he's going to do, not just let his voting speak for him, as they tried to tell me.
Yeah.
I need him to be vocal about
needs to
this.
be vocal, needs to be visible, needs to be out in front of this deal. All right, Bill. Well, don't forget to call Senator Cornyn's office also,
Yes,
because
sir.
he's uncommitted right now, so he needs to hear from his constituents in Texas. All right, Bill, listen, thanks for the call. I appreciate that. Bill in Caldwell, Texas. Well, that's it for the first hour of Focal Point. We'll be right back after the news. Stay with us. Don't forget, call your senators, 202-224-3121. Be back right after the news. Stay with us.
American Family